This video is part of the Lay the Draw video study, a statistical analysis of over 100 football matches to find out if the Lay the Draw strategy actually works, and if so, what betting conditions need to be present to guarantee a profit. The results of this study can be found exclusively at www.mikesbettingtips.com. Okay, today we are looking at 5 games in various Spanish divisions, and the first one we've got is Huesca. Just looking first at the odds of the 0-0 draw. First one is Huesca versus Hercules, and you can see that back in the 0-0 the 0-0 draw will be at 9.4 at the moment. We're about 15 minutes to the start of the game at this point. So it might go up, but generally this is the kind of time I'll be looking at it, or for the sake of this study I'm looking at it about 15-20 minutes before the kickoff. So Huesca Hercules 9.4. Another game I'm looking at is Numancia against Sabadell, and this is at about 11, as you can see here. Miranda and Guadalajara is again about 11. 10.5, 11, probably get 11 there. Alcorcon against Girona, it's 12, 11.5. And the last one is Deportivo against Betis. This is at 13.5. So none of these really are high enough. They're all not too bad, but from what I've been seeing so far, I think in terms of taking out the 0-0 strategy, in terms of placing a back bet here to cover any potential losses in case it is 0-0 at the end of the game, we want it to be about 18 or so. But not to worry, 13.5 around here is still adequate as far as I can see. Got to do some checking on that first, but generally I think these are okay. Okay, we're going to come back in about 20 minutes time and look at what is happening in the games when they kick off. Okay, we've just got about 10 minutes to go, but just having a bit more information here. So these are all Spanish games, as you can see here. This is a Spanish Premier Division. That's Coruña against Real. This is a Spanish Second Division, Spanish Second Division, Spanish Second, Spanish Second. So the way I'm going to structure these is probably do them all in the same kind of league at the same time when I do these 5 in a row. So let's have a look at some of the starting prices. This is the Huesca game against Hercules, and Huesca the favourites. They're at 2.02, Hercules at 4.6, and we're going to be laying the draw here. Again, on practice mode. This is a study, remember. We're going to be laying it at 3.5. So let's go on to the next game. Next game is the Miranda game. These are the starting prices again. Mirandes, yeah, Mirandes is the favourites, 2.06. Guadalajara at 4.2. The draw is at 3.55. So let's go in there. Numancia. The draw is at 3.5. Let's go in there, and Sabadell trading at 3.9, and the favourites Numancia at about 2.2 at the moment. Let's have a look. Alcorcon game. There seems to be a kind of a clear favourite in all of these games. One trading about 2, one trading about 4, which is interesting. But we're going to lay the draw here at 3. We're going to go for just for the sake of simplicity, we're going to go for, that's all we're doing this for, is really for simplicity's sake, just so we can see how far the movement is, how far the swing is when events happen. So just going back, 4.1 then, 4.2 for Girona, and about 2.1 for Alcorcon. And the last one, I think, is the Deportivo. The draw's at 3.75, a little bit higher. Betis at 3.6, and Deportivo at 2.2. So it's going to be interesting with these 5 games, but purely because of the fact that The favourite is priced around the 2 mark in each game, and the non-favourite is priced around the 3.5 to 4 mark. So it'll be interesting if we get similar price swings in relation to goals being scored. Okay, it's 10 minutes to go, 5 minutes to go, so we're going to come back when we've got some action in any of these games. I'm actually keeping track of these 5 on live scores on football24.com. The only problem I've got, basically what happens is this site gives you a ping every time there's a goal gone in, but because this is a Sunday, there's lots of goals going in. In any second now there's going to be lots of other games appearing here, so I've got to manually just keep a track of that and kind of close them down, otherwise I'm going to get pinged every 5 seconds. Anyway, going to come back when the games have started, or when there's at least 10 minutes have gone, so we can see any price swings. Okay, we've just had a goal in the Huesca game. I wanted to take this opportunity just to look at some price changes anyway. But a goal has gone in, and it's Huesca who have scored. Huesca were the favourites. So let's have a look and see how much that price has gone up. You see it had gone down to about 3.15. That may have been pre-match, I didn't actually check, but we can look at that by rewinding. So it went down to 3.15, the goal's gone in from the pre-match favourites, which is Huesca. And the price has shot up to about 5.4. So worth making a 5.4, yeah, about 5.4. We're going to check the other games then, because there, as you can see, they're about 15 minutes in, 14 minutes in. Or is a goal just gone in there? Hang on. Alcocer has just scored. Let's go to that game quickly. Similar type of pattern here. Alcocer were the favourites. Their price has come down even further, between 1.44, 1.34, so about 1.4ish. And the draw, let's have a look what happened to the draw. The draw, we got in at 3.65, it went down to 3.35, and it's gone up to well, 5.4ish, 5.5 around there somewhere. Let's have a look. 5.2. I'll stay with it for just a few seconds, just to see where that settles. Yeah, it's about 5.2 by the looks of it. So that's the price on both those games, with the goal going in after about 15 minutes on each of them. The other games are still goalless. Let's have a look at the Deportivo game. See what's happening there. So the draw has come down from 3.75 to about 3.45. That's after 15 minutes. The other game we want is the Mirandes game, and that hasn't really come down much at all in the first 15 minutes. Mirandes here, we've got in at 3.55. It's down to about 3.4, so very little change in the first 15 minutes of that game. The other one is the Numancia game, and again very little change here as well. 3.5 down to 3.4. So 3.4, 3.35, 3.4. So not much change in those games, and that may be because in each of those games there was a favourite. There was a clear favourite in the first team, where the first team mentioned in this column, who are generally trading about about 2.2, 2.3, and the underdogs are trading about 4, weren't they? That was the same in all games. So we'll come back when there's some more activity after about half an hour, and we'll have a look at the prices then. Okay, as you can see, so this goal has come when I'm just eating my dinner, so excuse me for that. But Numancia have just got a goal, or rather Sabadell have got a goal. Sabadell were the underdogs. So let's see what happens to the price here. I don't think it's going to go up as much as the other two games where a goal went in and it was the favourite, i.e. Huesca and Alcorcon, but we'll have a look. I see it had gone down to about 3.25, so not much movement at all. And you can see this time then, yeah, it's very interesting. 27 minutes gone, and because the underdog have scored, the price hasn't gone up that much. If you remember, in the Huesca games and the Alcorcon, the price went up to about all the way up to about 5. Actually, I can't remember, but it was up here somewhere, wasn't it? But in this game, because the underdog has scored, we're looking at about 3.6 or so is in between these 2 points. So that's, there's not much movement there when the underdog scores, and I think this reaffirms what I say when there are some videos on YouTube where the suggestion has been made that all you need to do is lay the draw and wait for a team to score, and you'll make some profit. In this case, although there is still some profit there, obviously, it's hardly anything. It's only 3 or 4 ticks. So we have to take that into consideration. We're 28 minutes in. I'm going to come back in about 2 minutes and look at some more. In fact, I'll do this now. Let's start with a Huesca game. So the draw is still around this kind of figure. Hasn't really changed much yet. In that one, okay, the Deportivo game, I'm jumping up a little bit here, the Deportivo game, still 0-0, half an hour gone, 29 minutes, and we've gone down from 3.75 to about 3.35, so you see the differential there. The next game I want is the Alcorcon game. And you can see this is the game where it's 1-0. The price is still remaining around the 5 mark, 4.9ish. The Mirandes game. Again, this is still a 0-0 draw. Bit more movement in this game, interestingly. It was at 3.55. We got in at 3.55 here. It's gone down to 2.94. So that is after 30 minutes of play. So that is quite interesting. A nice bit of movement there. One thing to note that I've just noticed actually is that the price, although the price is hovering between 3.1 and 2.94, nothing is showing up in this column yet because not enough quantity is actually being matched. I presume. Just something to bear in mind. And the last game was the I think it was the Numancia game, wasn't it? Oh, that's the game where the goal just went in, isn't it? Okay, so we're going to come back near half time and get an update on what's happening to the scores. Time for another price check. We're going to start with, let's go back to the Deportivo game. So this game now, which is still 0-0 after 39 minutes, has come down to about 2.98. If you remember, we started about 3.75 in this game. The Alcorcon, in which there's a goal. It's come down slightly, isn't it? 1 or 2 ticks maybe to 4.9, 4.8 in the last 5 or 10 minutes. Not a great deal though. The next game is the Mirandes game, again, which is still 0-0. And this has come down to about 2.78. 2.8, and that was down from 3.55. So again, there was no goal in that game. The Numancia game where the underdog scored. Yeah, 3.55. It's stuck around here still, hasn't really moved. And the last one is the Huesca game. And again, that's staying around 5.1. A goal just gone in. Real have just scored against Deportivo. So let's go back to that game. Now again, this is the underdog scoring. I don't remember off the top of my head what the exact scores were. But certainly Real Betis were the underdogs. And this one again. So let's see where this is going to come back in. Just waiting for this market to unsuspend itself. Okay, it looks like it's gone back to more or less where we started, 3.6, 3.65. So that's another example there that the lay in the draw doesn't automatically work, because even with that goal going in, we're still at a loss. I think if Deportivo had scored, then again I think that would have gone up to about 5 or something, 5.56 maybe. But again, because the underdog has scored, this strategy has not worked. Unless, of course, we would decide to get out maybe later. We've still got another 45 minutes to go. 50 minutes really in all these games. But certainly the lay the draw strategy is to generally get out after one goal has been scored, and that wouldn't have given us a profit in this case. So let's pause there. I'll come back on the stroke of half time. Well, I said I was going to come back at half time, but no, because Alcorcón have just scored. So let's go to that game. So they've equalised, haven't they? They were the favourites. Now, if we remember, the price had gone up, I think, to was this the game it had gone up to here? Can't remember. Apologies for that. I'm trying to keep track of 5 games going at once here. The main idea is to come back later and look at the prices. But this has come back, and we're now, I think it did, didn't it? I think it had gone up to about 3.8 in this one. But now that Alcorcón have scored, it's still a bit early to see what's going to happen. Maybe people don't want to put any money down at the moment because it is just near half time and they're still thinking about what they're doing. But you can see the price of the draw, interestingly, has come down to around here somewhere between 2.82 and 2.66. So that's interesting to make note of. Okay, I'm going to come back in a couple of minutes, and when it's definitely half time, and we'll see what's going on. Oh well, there's goals going in everywhere. So Alcorcón have just scored to go 2-1 up now, even just before half time. So we're going to see what happens here, see where the market comes back in. This will probably push the because they're the favourites. This will probably push the price of the draw way out, and you can see it's come back up now to about 5ish. So again, this is just for our notes, just to see what happens. We're probably going to forget this game now because it's we're going off at a tangent on this game now. But it is interesting to see what happened after the favourites got another goal. We're about to hit half time, so I'll come back in 2 seconds. Okay, it's half time in 4 of those games. All 5 games now is half times. Let's have a look at what's happened with the prices. We're going to start with Deportivo then. So the Deportivo game is the favourites basically losing by 1 goal, and that has just only gone down like 2 or 3 ticks from what we got in at on there. The next game is the Alcorcón. Alcorcón is where the favourites came back to take a 2-1 lead, and in this case the price has gone up to around 4.9 at half time. Mirandes. Mirandes is the interesting one because it's the only game of the 5 which is still 0-0. And you can see, so basically what's happened is we've got in at 355 and that's gone down to about 254. Numancia. This is again a game where the non-favourites or the underdogs are leading, and again there's not much change here at all. If you remember in the other game where Real were winning, that had gone down like 2 ticks, only about 2 ticks. This one has only gone up a few ticks from where we got in. So there's not much change going on really when the underdog scores first. Okay, the last game is Huesca against Hercules, and this game is where the favourite took an early lead. They're still 1-0 up at half time, and the price of the draw is still around about the 5 mark. Nothing really happening, so we're going to come back probably after about 60 minutes, about 15 minutes into the second half, and see what's going on with the scores. With the prices, sorry. Okay, we're only about 10 minutes into the second half, and you can see there that Real have scored a second goal. Just to throw a spanner into the works, so let's just go back to that game. Let's see what happens to the price. You see before it was about 355 here, 3.55. It's been suspended, so we'll wait a few seconds and see what happens once it comes back into play. Back in, and so it's 2-0 to the away team now. So I'm expecting, really, I think the price will probably shoot up, which no one's really laying their cards. Oh, it's gone right up to here. Okay, so we're 8 now, between 8 and 11.5. So we'll say about 9, shall we, around here somewhere. Give that a minute to settle down. So the underdog getting a second goal. So and Deportivo have just got a goal back, but luckily we got this information just before that goal went in. So Deportivo now, their favourites, have pulled a goal back to just 1 goal deficit. As you can see, the market's been suspended again, so we'll wait to see what happens when it comes back into play. So it really went from about 3 point something all the way up to 9 once the underdog had got a 2-goal advantage. But let's see what happens now once the market comes back into play. And Alcazon have just got a goal. We'll go back to that game in a minute. So you can see the market's come back down to probably where it was before that, like 5 minutes ago when it was 1-0. It's about the same kind of price, isn't it? Let's just go back then to the Alcazon game, because Alcazon have just scored. And the price of the draw, now that there's a 2-goal advantage to the home team, to the favourites, is now gone right out to about 19.20. And there's not much money in here either. So that's that one. The Mirandes game, which is the one we're really interested in, because it's still 0-0. You can see that's come down to 2.14 then. On that one, so 2.14, 2.12, and we originally got in at 3.55. The Numancia game, where there's still a 1-0 advantage to the underdog, Sabadell. So the draw is about 3.65, 3.6. Again, I can't remember exactly what it was before the half-time mark, whether that's going up or down. I think it's slightly going up, isn't it, by the looks of the bunch here. We can check that by rewinding. And finally, the Huesca game. Quick look at that one. And again, that's still around the same mark for the draw. So okay, so what I'm doing now really is we're going off at a tangent again. We've got the information mainly we need. The only thing I'm really looking at is the Mirandes game to see how long that stays 0-0 and what happens if there is a goal. And just basically what's happening when other teams go 1 or 2 ahead, and see how that affects the market. So we come back a little bit later on. In fact, I'm going to stop this recording here. I think this is going to be the case for most of my future videos. I'll be stopping around the 60-minute mark, because after this time the prices I think get a bit more volatile, and from what I can see, from what I'm gathering, the idea of what I'm trying to do is to see how we can get in at the start of the game when there's low risk, and see whether the lay in the draw strategy works. And I think we've got the information really. So the only game is this Mirandes game, which by now we would have. Let's just see who scored. Deportivo have equalised against Real. I'll have a look at that just out of interest. But generally speaking, we want to, get out while the risk is. Well, basically what I'm saying, if you can understand anything I'm saying, because I lose track sometimes, is that there comes a point we've got to cut our losses, and really, that's again part of the idea of these whole videos. But I'm going to get out there. We're 7.75 down on a £10 stake. So if we go all the way down, we're 25.50. So I'm going to get out at this price and stop the video.